Oh, yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Welcome in. Welcome back to another episode of the Format Podcast live Sunday morning edition. And guess what? Today, I'm about to rock solo. I can't remember the last time I did a Sunday morning edition just for self. So I am going to be here. Sneed got what you need, got some stuff going on. Transformer is busy serving our great nation as a military reservist. So it's just going to be me today, and I'm excited. So, with it just being me, I'm going to look for you all to really be active in the chat and go ahead and engage. And when it's time to call in, get these call-ins so we can really rock and roll and you guys can keep me flowing. If you're watching here right now, totally appreciate the support. Appreciate you being here. If you're watching on the replay, thank you for that as well. All right. I'm going to go ahead and do what I do, give a shout out to the channel members, and following that, we'll go ahead and do the spiel, and then we will get it rolling with the quick hits. We got what I believe is going to be a pretty good darn show for you today. Obviously, like we always do, we got the quick hits, and then we're going to talk about the Indiana Hoosiers on track for what may be the greatest season in college football history. In terms of wins, at least it will be, but we'll talk about it. We'll talk about the Rams surviving what was a very tough matchup and what no one expected. I think Vegas had him as a 10.5-point favorite. We'll get there as well. We'll talk about the Chicago Bears doing it once more. And of course, Trae Young and his new home with the Washington Wizards. So got a lot going on. But before we do that, let's go ahead and hit the spiel, and then we will be right back. All right. If you're watching here on YouTube, make sure you go ahead, click that subscribe, that like, that notification bell. Make sure you're kept up to date whenever we drop new content on the channel. If you want the audio only version of the podcast, open up your audio podcast platform, hit the search bar, type in The Format Podcast. We should come right up. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you give us a like, leave us a 5-star review, and drop a comment. All that stuff helps us rise in the algorithm, helps us find more sports fans, helps more sports fans find us. Make sure you write it down, put it in your phone, make a note of it. The Format Podcast is live Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern. And finally, if you're really and truly enjoying the content we're delivering you, make sure you hit that join button. There's going to be exclusive content here just for you. Yes, just for you. All right, exclusive content coming this week. I apologize. I was supposed to get that out to you last week. I had some stuff going on, but this week I will get that out to you. So, let's go ahead and give a shout out to those channel members. I didn't do that. I'm a little out of sorts, not used to doing this Sunday show by myself, but let's do it. First and foremost, Coach T, first official member of the channel. Thank you. It's not that serious. What's good, my brother? Yes, bear down. We will talk about it. Chief Sid Bubba, my man, thank you for all that you've done for our nation. Thank you for all that you've done for this show. Thank you. I truly appreciate it. And shout out to the boys from Annapolis. And this is beautiful because I don't have to hear the Navy song. Order Arms. All right. Baltimore Bruce, what's good, my man? What's good? Steve, king of the chat, what's popping? Nino, what's good, my man? Only one NBA topic today, so you might not be feeling this show quite the same way, but it's all good. Sneed, got what you need, man. Always appreciate you, man. And all love 0307. Shout out Micah, New York, stand up. Okay. We got that out of the way. We got the spiel out of the way. Let's go ahead and get to these quick hits. So I will say the first quick hit I wanted to bring up, and coincidence you're here, Edward, because if you remember, back on, and this will be real quick, back before Christmas, you were somehow arguing, and I'm sure you would still try to make the ridiculous argument that the NBA is as popular as the NFL, which is utterly absurd, right? Remember when you were arguing about how the NBA games on Christmas Day were going to outdraw the NFL games, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Yes, the NBA is popular on a global scale, but domestically, nothing touches the NFL. We know that. College football might come close, but yes, Anchors Away, Transformer. What up? But college football may come close at times to the NFL in the United States, but when it gets down to it, NFL is king. There's a reason they say that. So why am I bringing that up? Because I took the liberty of looking up this morning. The official ratings won't be out until Tuesday, I believe. But I looked up the estimated ratings for yesterday's NFL playoff games, right? And this actually surprised me that the Rams versus the Panthers did between an estimated 26 to 29 million viewers, which is crazy, right? I thought that would have been the number one game of the day. Green Bay versus Chicago in primetime. And the reason I thought that, the Packers have a pretty good national following, and Chicago is the third largest city in the United States. So I thought that they would have had the advantage in terms of viewership. But they actually did, again, estimated 22 to 25 million viewers. And that'll probably change when the official numbers come out on Tuesday. So I'll be looking forward to checking that. But the point I'm trying to make, Edward, is that it's not about shade, man. You say dumb stuff, so you got to get checked, right? I got to do that. So anyway, no, when it comes down to it, I'm making the point here that there's nothing the NBA can do. The NFL is the king, and the NFL is always going to dominate, plain and simple. And it doesn't hurt that we had two amazing freaking playoff games yesterday, right? So the NFL, obviously, in the regular season, it dominates. Even in the preseason, it dominates. But now we're getting to the playoffs, right? Brass tacks. We're getting to where, I can't remember the other saying, but we're getting down to it, the win or go home. And it's even more important. And to top it off, you got two games that were amazing, came right down the stretch to the very end. Just, that elite level of competition, and the differences, with the NBA and the NFL is just, you see guys playing so much harder. But again, it is what it is. The point I'm trying to make is the ratings, the estimated ratings, I should say, for yesterday's opening two games of the first round, the wild card round of the playoffs, were absurd. 26 to 29 million estimated for the Rams versus the Panthers, and 22 to 25 million estimated for the Packers versus the Bears. So that was incredible. Let's see. Edwards says, Bruce, again, I'm saying, let's put it up here. I'm saying that the past Christmas games were not very impressive like the NBA games. Your co-host Sneed agreed with me. That wasn't what you said, though. You got on this show and you said that the NBA was going to outdraw the NFL because the games were bad that the NFL put out there. And I told you, and your brother told you, shout out Transformer, that it doesn't matter if the games are bad or not. The NFL is always going to beat the NBA. It's just what it is. So I gotta make sure I let you know, it doesn't matter if they were trash. You see how you're moving the goalposts? You know what you're moving like right now, but that's okay. It doesn't matter if the games were trash. At the end of the day, the NBA cannot beat the NFL no matter how much you want it to. And that's no shade at the NBA. It just is what it is. Sneed got what you need. Good morning, my brother. Salam. Okay. Second quick hit. This was something interesting. I don't know where this, how this came into my mind or where this popped up, but I'm noticing the LA Clippers are really struggling this year. I think they're 15 and 23 on the year, if I'm not mistaken. Really struggling. Fourth in their division. Still a long way to go, right? But, they're really struggling, likely won't make the playoffs, et cetera, et cetera. But I was super surprised to see that Kawhi Leonard has, played 28 games already this year. But again, with Kawhi, you never know, because he could be playing for a while and doing his thing, and then all of a sudden, his body just fails him. So being one of the better players in the league, you would hope that he is able to, at least, give us a 60, 65 games this season. You would hope. Anyway, what surprised me is that Kawhi Leonard is averaging 28 points per game, 27.8 to be exact, 27.8, 6.4 rebounds, 3.5 assists, shooting 50% from the floor and 38% from three and 94% from the stripe. So it's amazing to me. And I guess it just goes to show that when you're winning, you get the attention, right? Even in a major media market like Los Angeles, nobody is talking about what Kawhi Leonard is out there doing this year. And that's, I guess, again, it's because the Clippers are losing, but he's having a heck of a year. And I'm very impressed with what I'm seeing from him. And it's just a shame that when you look at a guy like Kawhi Leonard, or when you look at a guy like Joel Embiid, you have certain guys who could have been all-timers, right? But their bodies failed them. And, Kawhi is going to arguably be a Hall of Famer at the end of the day. He's a multiple-time All-Star. He's a two-time, Defensive Player of the Year, two-time champion, and I think a two-time Finals MVP. So Kawhi Leonard has, some of the accolades that you need to be able to get onto that platform. But you wonder if he could have been, if he could have remained healthy throughout the bulk of his career, what could Kawhi Leonard have been? He certainly would have been another foil to LeBron. He would have kept him from winning some more if he could have remained healthy. I think that's probably a fair assessment. Hell, everybody ate on LeBron's watch, right? There's no question about that. Edward says Kawhi Leonard is more impressive than Jaylen Brown this season, in my opinion. You are entitled to your opinion. Cool. But anyway, Kawhi Leonard is having a heck of a year. And so I just wanted to get on the show and show him some love. And like I say, it's tough because of the amount of, the amount of losing that the Clippers are doing. And that in a big part is unfortunately to injuries. And the odd part is the injuries are usually to Kawhi Leonard. But this year they traded for Bradley Beal in the offseason. I don't know why you would do that. He's got a supermax contract and he's another guy always hurt. Bradley Beal, he broke his hip November 8th, and so he's out for the year. So that's money you got to pay for production you aren't getting. Kawhi Leonard, again, he's doing his thing for the most part, as you could expect from a Kawhi. James Harden has been out with shoulder fatigue. That's very interesting. I've never heard that in watching basketball, the NBA, since the late 1980s, early 90s. I've never heard of a player having shoulder fatigue. Maybe he shoots too much. I don't know. But if Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant didn't get shoulder fatigue, I don't know who would. But in all seriousness, James Harden was having a heck of a year too. He was having like a throwback Harden year, averaging 26 points a game, 8 assists a game, shooting 43%, 89% from the free throw line, and 36% from three. So he was having a heck of a year. But, he has played 35 games in fairness, but as of late, he's come up with some injury and they've been, I guess, kind of resting him. Zubac, he's having ankle problems. Derrick Jones Jr., MCL sprain. Bojan Bogdanovic, hamstring and hip issues. So this team has really, and you look at the Clippers sometimes and you wonder, is this team cursed? Is there really something like, is somebody, in the back of wherever or in some dark basement, burning things and poking pins in a doll or something? This team is truly cursed. It is crazy. I don't get it, man. Okay, that's another one. Yeah, Edward says Anthony Davis is out once again. That's another guy. There are some guys in this era who, and I guess there's guys like that in every era, right? But you wonder how great they would have been if they could have stayed healthy. Bill Walton's another one of those, right? If he didn't have the foot injuries, he worked so hard, to do the rehab and to try to come back. And that was a guy who easily should have been an all-time great top 10 big, probably maybe like a top 8 big man of all time if he could have stayed healthy, but that's a whole different story. Bill Walton was amazing. By the way, if you want to know about Bill Walton, I did while back, I did an episode on this channel about Bill Walton, giving him his flowers, so you can go check that out. But yeah, man, there's just too many guys who could have truly been all-time great, but their bodies failed them, so it's good to see Kawhi Leonard out there on the floor really doing his thing. Sneed says Claw last 10 games has been all pro level. Yeah, no, he's been balling out, definitely. The problem is Kawhi Leonard probably is not going to meet the 65 game threshold. He's just probably not. But at this point in his career, it's probably not that important to him, right? I think, like I said, he's one of those guys that everybody realizes and acknowledges that had he been healthy and had his, body not failed him throughout the bulk of his career, he would have been one of those guys that would have just, who knows where he would have been. Edward says, shout out to the late, great Bill Walton. He's one of the great players back in the day when I was an afterthought, gave love and respect to King James, unlike the people Bruce and many other support. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, Bill Walton is an all-time great. Yep. Bill Walton also played with the greatest small forward who ever played, Larry Bird. But, that's totally beside the point. Edward didn't mention anything about Larry Bird, but why would he? Because he doesn't know NBA history, but not the point at all. Yeah, that was the quick hit though, man. Kawhi Leonard is out there doing his thing, and it is crazy that, that organization is so cursed. Just got something. Okay. Rams QB Matthew Stafford to undergo test on injured finger. Interesting. All right, we'll see where that goes. That might be something to think about when we get to that Rams topic. Okay, let me do something here I don't normally do. Take a couple minutes, take a couple quick calls, open up the phone lines on the quick hit, see if anybody has any thoughts on the two quick hits. And again, the two quick hits were number one, the NFL showed its dominance on television yesterday with estimated ratings of 26 to 29 million on the Rams-Panthers game and 22 to 25 million on the Packers-Bears game. So y'all know the number, 904-219-8264, 904-219-8264. We'll take a couple quick calls on this just to get anybody's thoughts on those two quick hits. Definitely want to hear from you. It's not that serious, says his hand was really swollen. Yeah, but hey, they pulled out the win, right? Edward. No. But yeah, so yeah, those are the two quick hits. And all right, I'm gonna give it about 30 more seconds, see if we get any calls on that. And then we'll go ahead and get right into our first topic. This show should go a lot faster. When it's just me, I can give my thoughts and all that. I can take the calls and the interaction from you guys. But, when there's not another voice on here, it's going to go faster because it's not a conversation. It's more like a monologue. But again, appreciate you all being here. Okay, let's go. Looks like we're not going to get any calls on this, on the quick hits. So let's get into the first topic. And that is, we have a national championship game set. And that is Monday, I think January 19th, not this Monday, but the following Monday. And that will be the Miami Hurricanes versus the Indiana Hoosiers. And that's interesting for a couple of reasons. One, Miami is, I believe they're the first team, certainly in the 12-team college football playoff era, but they may be the first team in the college football playoff era, period, to play for a national championship on their home field. So that's got to feel good, right? Sleep in your own bed or your own dorm or whatever it is, right? Don't have to travel, kind of can really do your home game routine, which is awesome. But they are running into what appears to be an absolute buzzsaw in the Indiana Hoosiers. And this is interesting because the Hoosiers are going on to possibly be the best team in the history of college football. And I know that sounds hyperbolic. I know that sounds like, recency bias, prisoner of the moment, whatever you want to call it. Cool. So let's say this. If Indiana completes the job, they'll be the first team in college football history to ever go 16-0. Now, we obviously take that with a grain of salt. Why do we take that with a grain of salt? We take that with a grain of salt because no other team prior to the past 2 years, prior to last year, has actually had the opportunity to go 16-0, right? We've seen teams go 15-0. Michigan did it. I believe Clemson did it. Clemson didn't. Clemson went 14-0. But we've seen teams have the opportunity to go 15-0, right? And like I said, Michigan did it. Ohio State didn't even do it last year, and that was a great team. Now, you look at this Indiana team, and it's not necessarily loaded with the all-time great talent that's going to be, Hall of Fame, et cetera, on the next level, like those old Miami teams or like those USC teams, or even, going back a little bit, going back many years, like those Notre Dame teams. It's not that, but it is a team that is loaded with quality players for that system. It is a team that's loaded with mature players for that system. It's a team that's loaded with unselfish players who don't make mistakes. Just a team that is extremely well coached and well developed, and they are going to do their thing. It's crazy. They are slaying monster programs this year, and we're seeing it. We've seen them beat Oregon twice. The first one, they won 30-20 at Oregon. The second game, and we'll talk about it briefly, we saw them completely annihilate Oregon. 56-22, and they did what old Barry Switzer, former national championship head coach of Oklahoma and Super Bowl coach with the Cowboys, used to say, hang half 100 on them. And that's precisely what they did. This team is clicking on all cylinders, right? We saw them just monkey stomp Alabama 38-3. And if you're not an SEC fan, that was a beautiful thing to see. But we are seeing them really do damage out here. But I think that we may see, other than Ohio State, this Miami team may be their toughest test. And we'll get to that briefly. But yeah, Indiana is really good. Like I said, they don't have the elite talent of some of those other teams, or even like, the 2019 LSU team that ran roughshod. They don't have that level of talent, but they're playing like it. And sometimes, being that, as Snead said, I just looked down that well-oiled machine, and playing and not making mistakes can, that can supersede talent. Snead says, well-oiled machine, believing in their system themselves and what they have built. It's a beautiful thing. It really is, because they're playing the right way. And Miami is playing the right way as well, right? So, got to give them respect too. But what Indiana is doing is crazy. So let's kind of dig into that football season a little bit, right? Like I said, they beat Oregon, they beat down, dismantled, destroyed Oregon 56-22 in the college football playoff semifinal. This is crazy. They lead the nation in point differential this year at plus 473. They're destroying everything in sight. They're averaging 42.6 points per game while only allowing 11.1. Scary. That's scary, right? And I think that average is boosted up because Oregon scored 20 against them, and then they scored 22 against them in the rematch in the semifinal. They are getting 461 total yards per game while giving up 260.9. They have 46 passing touchdowns to only 7 interceptions. And it's just dominant. They're 92% red zone effectiveness. So we're looking at what Indiana is doing. And now you're starting to ask the question, okay, where's the weakness on this team, right? This is scary. Every team theoretically has a weakness. Indiana hasn't shown it. They can throw the ball. They've got the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. Mendoza is a surgeon out there. They can run the football. We've seen that. Big O-line. They can stop the run. Big dominant D-line. They can get after the passer. You've seen them get sacks, right? So they can stop the run. They can run the ball. They can get pressure constantly, and they can throw the ball. Then you start seeing, okay, they can get takeaways. I think they have 18 interceptions on the season. They only allow 75 rushing yards per game and 2.9 yards per carry. That's right up there with the elite defenses of all time, right? That's right up there with Ohio State this year and last year. That's right up there with Michigan a couple years ago. That's right up there with those all-time great Alabama teams and those Georgia teams, right? You're starting to see it, but rarely do you see a team that has everything. And then we saw in the semifinal, these guys are even playing great out of their minds on special teams now, blocking punts, right? So it's like, okay, where can you attack this team? And I totally get it, right? I know it sounds like I'm being a homer and prisoner in a moment and whatnot, but having watched these guys all year, it's just, I think it's fair to ask, okay, where do you attack this team? Where is the weakness? It doesn't appear that there is a visible weakness on this team. Billy Taylor 701, what's good? I don't think I've seen you here before. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. What is FGB? I'm not familiar with that acronym, but yeah, getting right back to it. What Indiana's doing is absolutely incredible. You gotta, like, the first play of the game against Oregon, they set the tone. They get a pick six. The first offensive play of the game, they get a pick six. Like, when you saw that, you said, oh boy, this could get ugly fast. But then, to Oregon's credit, Dante Moore calmed down, nice long drive, go down there and score on their first offensive possession. But then it went crazy, right? Here's the other thing. I was watching this game. Me and my homeboy were watching the game, right? And I said to him, yo, I know this sounds cliche and journalistic or whatever, but does it appear to you like Indiana's possibly a team of destiny? And he started laughing. I said, think about this. And right when I said that, that was when Mendoza runs out, he spins off, he fumbles the ball, an Indiana player falls on it. Next possession, Oregon is deep in their own end zone. They get a strip sack, and Dante Moore, fumbles the ball. And of course, Indiana gets to it. It's like Indiana is getting to every loose ball. Like every play that can possibly benefit them seems to be going their way. And so you're wondering, like, are they truly a team of destiny? It's crazy watching these dudes play. And they are playing at a historical level. And so let's also keep in mind, right? So I think, I got you, F Green Bay. I got you. Let's also look at this, right? Indiana, going into the beginning of last season, Kurt Cignetti's first year there, Indiana was the losingest team in FBS history. Now it's Northwestern, but they were the losingest team in FBS history. Absolute afterthought. Indiana, known Hoosier State basketball school, basketball program, right? But I didn't know this till this year. Mark Cuban is probably their biggest, most famous, most successful alum. And so he's been pumping a lot of money into the NIL. He's their biggest booster now. And so they've been able to, assemble this quality roster. Now that said, it's not just about the money, right? I hear a lot of people saying, well, it's easy with Mark Cuban bankrolling the operation. Okay, Texas Tech pumped a whole lot of money into their roster as well, which helped them to lose one game during the course of the season and get to the college football playoff, right? So they were able to do that, but they're not winning the same way. You can pump all the money you want into a program, no matter the sport, but it doesn't always equal winning, right? So is it helping that Mark Cuban is getting money into the program, being able to get those players, NIL, et cetera? Yes. Does it also help that they hit a home run hire when they hired Curt Cignetti from James Madison University? Yes. So he's come in, he's brought his mentality clearly and quickly, has changed the culture, brought in a winning mindset, right? What did he say when he was asked about? I win, Google me, right? That was his thing. So his mindset, his mentality, his culture, he brought that. Clearly, he's taken that everywhere he's gone, and he's moved up the ladder. He's coached at Elon. He was an assistant under Saban at Alabama. He's coached at Elon. He's coached at James Madison. Now he's the head coach at Indiana U, and he's on the doorstep of winning their first ever national championship. He's already won the first outright Big Ten championship since 1967. He's on the doorstep of making a whole lot of history. He's been so good that his name keeps coming up, and in 2 seasons, he's gotten 3 deals, right? His original deal and then 2 contract extensions, because they want to make sure that they keep him there as long as they possibly can. Curt Cignetti is the real deal. Indiana is the real deal. They're now becoming a transfer portal destination, right? Their starting center, Pat Coogan, he played for the national championship last year with Notre Dame, came up short, transferred to Indiana, and now he's going to play for the national championship again and is the favorite. You look at a guy like Nick Marsh. He was widely touted as the number 1 wide receiver in the portal. He was playing for Michigan State, and a lot of people had their eyes on him. Notre Dame was looking at him, so on and so forth. Guess what? He's going to Indiana next year. So Indiana has changed pretty much in the blink of an eye. And so it's truly amazing to see what they've done. Now, you look at one more game, right? One more game, and we could be looking at this totally differently, or we could look at this as one of the best teams in college football history and one of the best seasons in college football history. Notice I made sure I said team, and I don't mean just team as in fielding a football team, but I mean team as in their unity, their camaraderie, the way they play the game, the lack of, and don't get me wrong, they have really good players, but I think they showed during the Oregon game. Oregon had 55 4- and 5-star players on that team, and I think Indiana has no 5 stars and 8 4-stars. So they're not doing it with a bunch of guys who are highly touted. They're doing it with a bunch of guys who are well-developed, who are mature, who understand the system, want to buy in, aren't selfish, and are doing their thing. So I don't think you're going to see a bunch of guys who are elite players on Sunday out of this program. You'll see some, as you always do from a national championship team, but you're going to see a bunch of guys who are going to go down as one of the best college teams ever. But all that said, they still have to finish the job. They still have to finish the job. And so when we look at the national championship game, Miami Hurricanes, now this is a team, I'm a Notre Dame fan, so I hate Miami. I'm going to be honest about that. However, this is a team that is built properly and plays football the way I believe it should be played. Absolute dominant smash mouth physicality. Absolute dominant smash mouth physicality in conjunction with what I believe are 2 of the most important tenets of winning football games on any level. Run the ball, stop the run. That is what Miami does. Miami is able to keep teams off of the field because they have long, sustained drives consistently throughout the game. They are a dominant team in terms of time of possession. They're able to do that. They don't turn it over a lot. They force some turnovers as well in the passing game. And we saw Carson Beck, who I don't think most of us believe in if you've watched this guy for his college career, but we saw him make some key plays and make the type of drive that's going to get him drafted a little higher at the end of that game against Ole Miss. He drove his team down and they won the football game. That said, I don't know that Miami is going to have enough, but they have a chip on their shoulder. They're playing at home. They've thrived on this all year long. They're not going to change now, and they're not going to not play the way that they've played all year that's brought them here, right? I know that the country people have a saying that says, dance with who brung you. And that's certainly what Miami is going to do. They're going to dance with who brung them. And that's punch you in the mouth over and over again. Like, have you ever watched, this is going to be a tremendous matchup, watching Miami's defensive line versus Indiana's offensive line. Have you ever watched when Miami plays and let's say they're playing and the running back, the starter, Fletcher Jr., he may get stopped after, 2 yards, but he keeps his legs grinding and he keeps pushing. And that O-line, that massive Miami O-line keeps pushing and keeps pushing and keeps pushing. And then they end up picking up an extra 4 or 5 yards. Like, that's the way these guys play. The physicality is incredible. Now, with that said, Indiana has a heck of an O-line and a heck of a D-line as well. So we're going to see what it is. Also, Miami's defensive line gets tremendous pressure in terms of the pass rush, getting upfield with Ruben Baines and Hakeem Mesidor. We got to see what's going to be the deal with Mesidor, but he's got a lot of time between now and then to kind of get well. But we'll see if he's at 100% and if he can go and be that impact player in the national championship game. That said, I think that the pass rush for Miami can be more successful against an Indiana than it was against Ole Miss, because Trinidad Chambliss has elite mobility as well as arm talent, right? Fernando Mendoza at 6'5" has good mobility. He's not a Chambliss. So if you can get really going up the field and get some pressure on him, more pressure perhaps than he's seen all year, maybe you can rattle him and maybe you can possibly force him into making some mistakes, because Miami also has a bunch of young, hungry defensive backs who make plays. This is going to be a really great game, I just don't know if the U has enough. And we're also forgetting the other little interesting nugget storyline-wise that will also motivate Indiana in this game. Fernando Mendoza's from Miami. He's playing in front of his home crowd. Fernando Mendoza's dad and Mario Cristobal, the head coach of the Canes, were high school teammates before Mario Cristobal went on, obviously, to play at the U. So, you got those little extra bits of motivation for Mendoza, and obviously he's gonna, his team knows that, and I'm sure they're gonna win it. They're going to want to win it for their guy. So this is going to be really good. No Snead, not go Canes, go Indiana, go Hoosiers. What up, Lou? Yeah, absolutely, man. Fantastic games, man. Fantastic games. Thank you for being here, bro. But yeah, Indiana's special, man. Indiana is special. They have an opportunity to be one of the best teams in college football history. And this is what we're going to see. And I got to say, I love this, man. And it's not necessarily about, let me say the first thing I love the fact that for the third straight season, the SEC will not play for nor win a national championship. That's fantastic. But even beyond that, I love the fact that we got another super exciting college football season. Am I happy with the way it played out for Notre Dame? Obviously not, but we got another amazing college football season. And all these people that were complaining, talking about how expanding the playoffs was going to be worse for college football, that's interesting because they want to expand it again. Clearly, people still care and they still love college football. And I'll tell you why it's better. Because when there wasn't a playoff and it was just BCS or whatever, and the SEC was in there every year and it was very regional, right? The money wasn't flowing all throughout the country, nor was people weren't watching the same, because a lot of times their teams were out earlier. So with more people or more teams, able to get into a college football playoff, you have this opportunity for more fan bases to be engaged longer during the regular season and even into the playoffs. So this is better for college football on a national level. So that's why this is fantastic, and I love it. Edward, I'm gonna ignore you, man, because you don't know what you're talking about, but it's all good. Anyway, yeah. So we're watching what was an amazing college football season. We'll see it end on January 19th, next Monday night. And we're going to find out if Indiana is truly going to go down as one of these all-time special teams. Because at the end of the day, they could have done all this and it would have been great. But, as we know, when you don't win the chip, but was it Michael Jordan? Did he say it don't mean a thing if you don't get that ring? Somebody said that. I think it was MJ. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead, open up the phone lines here. I would love to hear what you guys think regarding this Indiana team. Let me know if you believe that they're as special as I do. Let me know if you think these storylines matter. Let me know what you think about who's going to win the national championship. And also, I'm curious to know, what do you guys think about how Miami will go down historically if they don't finish the job and the U pulls this upset? So, yep, 904-219-8264, 904-219-8264. 8264. I want to hear from you. In the meantime, let's see if we got anything in the chat. Yes, Need. I definitely think the Hoosiers are a team of destiny, man. It's so weird. It just seems like everything somehow is going their way. And I think that when you see it like that, it kind of leads you to believe, like, man, it's almost like there's a higher power on somebody's side when you see that. So it is crazy. Sneed says, I believe IU has replaced Michigan in the Big Ten for the time being. That is very interesting, and that's a fair point. But I'll say this. I think Michigan is going to be back and be back quickly. Maybe not national championship level, but definitely Big Ten championship contention, because they have a very good coach. If you know anything about, formerly Pac-12 football, now Big 12, or just, college football on a national level, Kyle Whittingham was an outstanding coach. I think he took over at Utah right after Urban Meyer left for Florida, and he has had Utah very competitive and an outstanding team for the duration of the time that he's been there. He won a couple Pac-12 titles, et cetera, and sent a fair amount of guys to the league. So, yeah, I think that he was the right fit. He's a guy that's an adult. He's a guy that's going to bring some calmness and some stability back to the program, even though he's older. And in a few years, you'll get that next guy, maybe somebody a little younger that they're going to hopefully look towards staying for a while. But you need somebody right now to stabilize a very unsteady ship. Sneed says leading the way in the Big Ten is a serious situation. Absolutely. Absolutely. So we'll definitely see how that goes for Indiana going forward. Steve says Michigan cheated for their title, but let's let IU actually win one before we talk about replacing a recent title program. Steve, we get it, but this is a sports show, man. We got to talk about this. So the whole point is, notice what I said. If they win, what do we think it's going to be? If they don't win, how do we view them on a historical level? I think Indiana is playing with house money here, Steve, and the reason why is because they've been so historically poor as a college football program. I think that is why everybody is so high on them and everyone is so amazed at what they're seeing, right? Let's say hypothetically, Notre Dame comes back and wins a couple of chips. Okay, people are going to say, well, that's Notre Dame's historical precedent. Notre Dame fans are going to say that's where Notre Dame should be. I'm sure some haters are going to say, well, they didn't play in the conference. It was easier. Well, we know that's BS. But anyway, the point is, certain programs, if Georgia starts winning titles again, okay, that's where Georgia should be. If Bama starts winning titles, historical precedent. Indiana has never been here. They've never looked like this. So that's why I think that we have a different situation and why we look at them. Steve says, someone said IU was replacing Michigan in the chat. That's what I was. I get it. I'm just telling you why people see Indiana the way they see him right now. And yeah, that was Sneed who said that. And for right now, he's kind of right? They've been better than Michigan in the Big Ten over the past 2 seasons. And, Michigan hasn't been in the playoffs since they won their national championship, right? Indiana's been in the playoffs twice. And this year they'll be playing for the national championship, and they've been the most dominant team in the country this season. So again, we'll see what it is, Steve. I know you don't want to see him win. I know you don't want to see the Big Ten win, and that's okay. I respect that. But if they do, I'm interested to hear what you have to say about that. Okay, well, looks like I don't have college football fans in here to give me a call this morning, so we will go right on to the next topic. All right. We will talk about, there we go. We'll talk about the first of the wild card playoff games yesterday. Excuse me. And that was the Rams escaping the Panthers at Carolina. So this is a game, this is odd, right? Because the Rams were favored, I think, by 10.5 in this game. And people, me among them, I thought, okay, Carolina was a tough matchup. Carolina caught them napping the first time. They beat them. But I was feeling like, all right, in this one, the Rams are going to show that they are clearly the superior team. And I thought that, I didn't know if they were going to cover the 10.5. A lot of times in the NFL, it's hard to do that. But I thought that they would win by a touchdown or so. And it would be more convincing than that. And there was a long time during that game where I'm like, oh my gosh, the Rams are going to lose, you know? I felt like the Panthers really had a chance to pull that upset. And it was a heck of a game. It was a heck of a game. And I think maybe what happened there was the Rams nearly got caught kind of overlooking them, which I don't know why you would overlook the Panthers. Again, knowing that they beat you during the regular season is crazy. So I don't know why that would be the case. But I also think, as I said, that spread, the 10.5 point spread, that was crazy. So you look at it and you see like this is what kind of got me. The Rams get off to a 14-0 lead, right? And so I'm looking at it like, okay, when you're up 14 zip, you probably should be in a position where you keep running and put the game away. But this is why defensive players get paid too. This is why coaches get paid too, right? They got to make adjustments. And lo and behold, adjustments were made. And before we even get to the adjustments, let me make sure I give a shout out to Bryce Young, who, you know, I'm not a big Bryce Young guy. I'm not an Alabama guy, not an SEC guy. Y'all know that. But Bryce Young has shown mental and physical toughness. He got benched. He came back. He has competed his butt off. He helped to get his team to the playoff, and he competed like hell in said playoff game. So got to give a lot of credit to Bryce Young for what he was able to do. Got to give him credit for what he was able to do. So shout out to him. But yeah, Rams get off early to a 14-zip start, and I'm like, okay, here we go. I think this is about to get ugly. But Bryce Young and Chuba Hubbard had 2 touchdowns. So the Rams end up getting into a situation where they're down 17-14 at halftime, which is crazy, right? You're up 14-zip. How are you down 17-14 at the half? You're not, you're not continuing to do the things that you did to get you there. And on top of that, you're not adjusting to the adjustments. And this is the one thing we say, right? Especially on the coaching side, football can be that chess match. So you get out early, you're doing your thing. The opposition makes the adjustments, right? You have to adjust to the adjustments that the opposition makes. So that starts to get like, okay, well, why haven't you done that? Because when you see it, it's a game of continual, okay, he did this, I did that. He did this, I did that. You got to go back and forth and continue. There is some level of dance with who brung you, but you got to make the small adjustments to be able to respond to what the other team is doing, or you will get beat. And that's almost what happened to the Rams. So, and oddly enough, going into this game, while, again, I didn't believe in the spread, one of the things I did believe in was Sean McVay and his championship experience and pedigree as a head coach. I didn't think Dave Canales was ready for that quite yet. Now, that said, you know, they went right down to the wire. So shout out to Dave Canales, shout out to the Panthers. But what Sean McVay and Matt Stafford and the rest of that Rams team was able to do, they did it, right? So I don't know. Oh, so we saw special teams rear its head again last night, right? So the Panthers get a punt block. This is when I started really thinking like, yo, the Panthers can win this game. So you get a punt block, you're scoring, you're running the ball, you're throwing the ball. Panthers really played well. But Matt Stafford is a guy who likely will be the MVP this year. 71-yard drive to go ahead and get the key score, man. By the way, you look at the Rams and you wonder, what is the deal with Puka Nacua? How come no one can guard him? Everybody knows this is where the Rams want to go. Nobody can scheme up defense for Puka Nacua. Like, he always seems to be open. Now, I know some of that is play design and whatnot, but he always seems to be open, and it's crazy. The guy is talented, but I'm like, at what point is somebody going to take him away and make the Rams beat you with everybody else? Belichick would find a way to do it. Sneed says, Puka has a big heart, will not be denied. Yeah, that's probably true. He's tough. That's one of the things I like about him. He's not a diva receiver per se. He'll get in there and block. He's super physical. He plays tough at the point of attack, the catch point. Like, he really doesn't seem to have a whole lot of weakness. He's right up there among the best wide receivers in the league. Probably top 3 or 4. Like, he's right there. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Puka Nacua, whoever you want to put that for, put that in whatever order you want to. Plays really smart. Yeah, he does. He's tough. He's well coached. He's talented, and clearly he works hard, man. Puka's a beast. But yeah, it's just amazing to, like I said, Belichick would have found a way to, at the very least, slow Puka Nacua down. And I can't understand why so many of these defensive coordinators can't figure out a way to do that. Somehow he's always managing to be, running free and getting wherever it is that he wants to be on the play. Part of that, again, is play design, and part of that is just his toughness. Edwards says, let's not forget he had that Puka had that big drop before the first half ended. It could have cost him. Yeah. No, definitely. Good point, Edward. Puka had a huge drop. Overall, the way he played, though, and I'm not absolving him of the drop because that could have lost him the game. So you're 100% right, Edward. Thank you for that. But yeah, it's you gotta wonder, man. The kid's tough, and like I said, just if they can find a way to take him out of the game. 10 catches, 111 yards. So, I mean, and they're tough catches. And Devontae Adams, he most of his career has been in number one. He's now in number two, but he's a real nice number two to have. 5 catches for 72 yards. So, I think the difference is too in this game, as well as the Panthers played, they couldn't really get their run game cranked up. 22 carries for only 83 yards, so that'll hurt you. But we know the Rams are a team. They've got a very good front four. They can defend. They can score. So I think that's a dangerous team that can beat anybody. And for whatever reason, I think Carolina is a really tough game for them. Not tough game, tough matchup. And so, a lot of times in sports, man, styles make fights. Kyron Williams had a quiet game, don't you think? Also, do you think that hit Devontae took on the sidelines fair or foul? That's a good question, Edward. I think it was fair. I don't think it was a dirty out of bounds hit. I think it was fair. And yeah, Kyron could have done a little better. But, this is the time of year, especially teams are focusing on taking away your key guys. So at the end of the day, the Rams still rushed for over 115 yards, right? 116 total. So that'll give you enough balance. I mean, would it be nicer if you were able to rush for 200 yards? Of course. I think just about every coach wants to be able to do that, but and just play off of that, right? Play action, etc. But, a buck 16 on the ground, and then Stafford 24-42. Not the most efficient game, but 304, 3 touchdowns and a pick. So Stafford did his thing. And Bryce Young, 21-40, again, not the most efficient, but big throws and big drives, 264 yards, a touchdown and a pick. But I think the Panthers got a lot to look forward to, and the Bucks better be careful. Now, don't get me wrong, they were snake bitten a lot with injury this season, but they need to be careful. They need to draft well because it looks like the Panthers are coming. And shout out to Jalen Coker for the Panthers, right? 9 catches, a buck 34. That's a hell of I believe this first playoff game, that's a hell of a playoff debut to be able to do that. So nice. Yeah. So that's what we got. So the Rams next week will face either the Bears or the Eagles. So looking forward to it, man. Just some great games. Yeah, the NFC South is a weak division, but when you play, the divisional games are always tough. And while the division itself theoretically is weak, there's good teams in the division. Look, the way it's set up, Edward, if you win your division, you get in. So it is what it is. All right, let's go ahead and let's open up the phone lines. I'll take a few calls on this. 904-219-8264. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Rams surviving against Carolina and what you think this means for their future in this playoff run. Did it expose them, or does it just show that Carolina is simply a tough matchup for them? Sneed says this is why coaches get fired when they don't show improvement year to year. They see teams like the Jags and the Panthers completely reinvent themselves within a season or two with a new innovative coach. Yeah, that can happen. That can happen, definitely. But the key is, I think, Sneed, while that's a great point, a lot of times we also see teams fire coaches hoping to hit on that, but not hitting on the right hire, and it doesn't work out. And then you're like, damn, should we have stayed pat? You know what I mean? So that's how you got to look at it. Sneed says the Rams played in tough games all year. And I guess that's true, but this particular matchup seemed difficult for them. But I think it's also better sometimes when you do play those. I think I would rather see a team play in tough games all year and learn how to win in those situations versus blowing people out all year. And then when they get tested and they get punched in the mouth, they don't know how to respond. Yeah, dominance is cool, but tough game shows you how to deal with adversity, how to play through those, and how to win those. Blue Savage, what up? The hit on Devontae was helmet to helmet foul, no question. It was called the other way against Landman, also called foul. Well, that's fair. So here's the thing, right? Blue Savage, I'm not disputing what you're saying. My thing is this. By the way, hit the like and subscribe, Blue Savage. Haven't seen you here before. Thanks for coming in. What I'll say about this is the whole helmet to helmet thing. I know the rule is the rule, so we got to abide by the rules. Got it. It really bothers me, though, because it's so punitive and is so specifically made against defensive players. Why do I say that? Let's say coming across the middle on a crosser, right? I catch the ball. I see the defender coming. So what's my natural inclination as a human being trying to protect myself, right? I hunch up and get low. So now, as you're catching it, the defender has already gone towards a perfect form tackle, right? They know the rules. They know what they're doing. They've gone towards that, right? Okay. You hunch up and you get low. The defender's already in motion. Here we go again. Isaac Newton, right? Laws of physics, laws of motion, excuse me. Object in motion stays in motion against external forces unless external forces act upon it, right? That's not word for word, but that's what the law of motion is. And so physics are at play here now. The defender is already in motion, launching towards a certain point, has perfect form tackle, but now you change where you are. You hunch up, you get low. The defender now goes helmet to helmet with you. They were lined up for a perfect tackle, wrap up, take you to the ground. You get low, they go helmet to helmet. They get called for that. That is something that drives me insane because it doesn't take into account the physics of set play and motion. The body is in motion. You can't change it once you're now en route to making that tackle. And we know how big, how strong, how fast NFL players are, and even college players. But it's all so geared towards protecting the offensive player. It's like somebody needs to reassess this because what is the defender supposed to do? Let's take all the rest out of it. What is the defender supposed to do? So if anybody wants to call in or say in the chat what the defender is supposed to do in these situations, I'd love to hear it because that's what drives me crazy. And I'm not one of those guys saying, oh, the NFL is so soft now, you can't hit anybody. Well, I actually am one of those guys, but I understand why the NFL is doing it. They're doing it, one, because they're trying to avoid another, multi-billion-dollar concussion lawsuit. And two, they're doing it because they know that that's the only way to keep mothers to allow their sons to play football, because that is the future of the sport, right? You got to have guys coming up and coming up through the pipeline, right? Pee wee and then high school and then college ball and then the NFL. So the NFL is trying to, give the appearance that they are protecting players and player safety is paramount, which we know is BS because, they keep adding games, et cetera. But the point is that I want to know, what is the defender supposed to do? So if somebody can help me out with that, I'd really appreciate it. Edward, your disrespect for the past is astounding. That's really crazy, but it's all good. You're going to be who you are. You be you. But yeah, I don't understand what the defender's supposed to do. So I get if, you're reckless with the helmet to helmet and you're out here spearing people and whatnot. There's a guy, I think he played in the 40s and 50s. His name was Roger Zatkoff. They called him Zany Zatkoff. And he was the guy who made a career out of spearing people. Like that was his tackling mechanic, spearing people. So I totally get it. He probably broke his neck or something. I don't know. But yeah, look it up. Roger Zany Zatkoff. That was his name. But he was one of those guys. Good morning, sir. How can I help you?
Good morning, sir. I know you solo dolo.
Yes, sir.
You got it. You got it. You know what I'm saying? You know what you're doing. And
Appreciate
that
it.
player, huh?
I said I appreciate it. Go ahead.
Yeah, and that player you said from the 1940s, oh my God, I wasn't even, like I said, I'm an afterthought.
Yes, we know.
Yeah, the Wax Museum is always open. Anyway, so let's keep going.
Yes.
So now you talk about the hit that Devontae took. I mean, yes, we got to worry about the player safety and everything like that. But
Absolutely.
Drew, what I really would like to know, what does a defender supposed to do? Because I really thought the helmet went to his chest, but now is they calling it now a penalty now?
I guess.
I understand helmet to helmet. I understand the helmet to helmet because they worry about concussions and protocols. They're doing all that. They try to take very seriously, you know.
As they should.
And also, now what is it? Now they also made a rule. Now, if you bird hug or something when the quarterback, that also considered as a penalty.
Wait, if you do what? Huh?
Bird hug, you know, like holding, you know, a D lineman coming for the quarterback, balls, and he's holding him going down to the ground. Is that considered a penalty?
No, the penalty is where if you fall on top of the quarterback, which again, see, this is the whole thing of protection, right? Because quarterbacks make the most money, quarterbacks are the stars, and when you know you have big name quarterbacks injured, it's not good for the sport and not good for the games, right? The quality of play suffers. But again, this is that BS. Like physics matter. If I'm a 330 pound, 320 pound D tackle, I break through the line, I'm running up on you at full speed, and I hit you. Well, chances are I'm going to go forward and fall on you. I don't know. I just don't know what they expect these guys to do. Like, are you supposed to hit him and then roll so he falls on top of you? Like, I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. Then plus, like, you know, especially like, you know, how, who's that guy from Baltimore? That, Ray Lewis?
Yeah. No, you're talking about Siragusa.
No, I was talking about Ray Lewis, that guy.
Oh, okay. I thought you was talking about Siragusa when he put Rich Gannon out of the playoffs. But go ahead.
I mean, he was one of them too, but you know how when guys, you know, get those quick slants going through the middle, and Ray Lewis right there, then you had James Harrison right there also. Facts. I mean, it's getting out here. And then plus, who was that? Especially, I think it was Zach Ertz. He in his season with that hit. I think they were playing against the Minnesota Vikings when he had tried to catch it. So they trying their best to try to protect, but again, this is a contact sport. It's a contact sport. So you just got to pray and hope for the best. So anyway, let's keep going.
Yes, sir.
About the game with the Rams and Carolina Panthers. I mean, look, nobody did not expect Carolina was going to make it. Especially, you know what I'm saying, everybody predicting that the Bucs was supposed to take over that division. But we seen how Baker Mayfield, he wet the bed. Even though they did win their last game, but you know they supposed to take over their division.
Yeah, but so many injuries. But you're right, Baker did not play well, so we have to call a spade a spade. Absolutely.
Yeah, and then Carolina, you know they fought. I mean, I know they beat them in the regular season, but that was regular season. When it comes to playoffs, it's 0-0, and also we know it's win or go home. So they did put up a fight. I noticed that they did not give the rock that much to Rico Dowdle. But you know they stuck with the I don't know. I know his last name is was it Hubbard?
Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah. So he was doing his thing, so they trusted him more in those decisions. And so they're gonna have a good, a bright future. You know, saying we're gonna see what it is, next season. Then now with the now let me ask you this, Bruce. Now if Matthew Stafford, with the cost, he had 2 INTs or was it just 1?
2, I believe. Let me see. I'm gonna pull it up, bro. I thought it was 2. No, he had the 1. He had 1.
Oh, okay. So how would you grade his game?
So I guess it's crazy to say, 304 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick is not a great game, but he has been more efficient this year. So even I would say if he had less passing yards, but he had a higher completion percentage, I probably would grade it better. You know what I mean? But they got the win. They got out of there with the win, and I think that's key. So I'm sure him and
a B- or something like that.
Yeah, a solid B. I think him and McVay are definitely going to spend a lot of time in the film room this week and look over things that they could do better.
Yeah, because I think now if they had lost this game, would you say that would cost him an MVP?
No, because remember, MVP is regular season, so no.
True, but we got to say about the guy that's in the AFC East. Even though they play tonight, he's been putting up historic numbers. We haven't seen nobody did that since the Tom Brady era. But anyway, I'm just saying, because I think he would probably be number 2.
Drake May, yeah, he's nice.
Yeah, and then also, man, I thought you were gonna have a segment about the first team All Pro already, and I think some people had got snubbed on that.
You know what? I didn't honestly, man. I didn't even look at it yet, but yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, you should look at it because I would say certain people had got snubbed for a first team All Pro, and most definitely because I don't think that, and you will agree with me too, that Jamar Chase should not have been first team All Pro. It should have been George Kittle. And
yeah, but Kittle's a tight end though, right?
I mean, not George Kittle. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. George Pickens. He should have been first team All Pro. Bruce,
yeah,
be fair, bro.
No,
he should have been over Jamar Chase. He should have been there because
I was about to say I can't be mad at that. That's what I was about to say.
No, but anyway, it was a good game. Right. But it was a good game. So that's all I got to say. I will be in the chat for the next topic because I still have something to say. And bro, Transformer, you're gonna be all right, bro. You're gonna be all right.
He gonna be all right, man. You don't gotta worry about the Transformer, man. He'll be all right.
Man, look, this dude, I know if he hadn't punched a hole in the wall or something like that, it's mad crazy. But I'm gonna let somebody else call that, man. Y'all hit the like and subscribe for my guy.
No doubt, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for the call, brother.
All right.
Oh, Edward. Oh, he left. Okay, but Edward, by the way, Roger Zaney Zakoff, he played in the 50s. He didn't play in the 40s. I wasn't quite sure, but he played in the 50s. From 1953 to 1958. Retired because of knee injuries. But yeah, that dude was crazy. Yeah, I'm looking at the all. Sorry, guys. I'm looking at the all pro teams. This is interesting. Let's see. Puka Nacua, JSN, Jamar Chase. Tight end Trey McBride. That's interesting. You know what it might have been? Because Kittle's had injuries that probably held him up. All-purpose C-Mac. Okay. So wow. Jonathan Taylor did not make an all-pro team at running back. That's crazy. I mean, I'm not mad at James Cook. He got busy too. But Bijan. All right. That might be something we got to look at down the road. Okay. So it looks like we won't be getting any more calls on this. Let me look at these chats I missed before we go on to the next game. Injury to his throwing hand. He found a way to win and make an amazing dart to win it. He gets an A-. I'm with the Beast need, but I get it. I'm not mad at that. Let's see. Very few QBs can make that throw, and he made it in the clutch after busting up his hand. Good point. Edward, are you saying Jonathan Taylor got snubbed? You're probably right. I think he should have been second team, James Cook first team. And then there's probably an argument maybe for Derrick Henry in there as well. Maybe the fumbles ruined that for him. All right. Let's go to the next topic, guys. And that is Transformer don't want to hear this, but the Bears. They did it again, man. They did it again. These guys, I don't know, man. They're built different. And if we're real, right? So let me say this first to start. I'm not a Caleb Williams guy. I'm not. And the reason why is very simple. He's a Trojan, and he won a Heisman off of an incredible highlight reel performance 3 years ago against Notre Dame, right? So I will never forgive him for that. But that said, I always acknowledged his talent level. His talent is insane. And you're seeing it more and more now that he's getting proper coaching. He is looking like the guy that they thought they were getting when they drafted him number 1 overall. So yeah, the Chicago Bears. They won their wild card playoff game last night over the Packers, 31-27. But so first, obviously, they win their first home playoff game in probably more than a decade. Second, the bigger thing I think here is that they did it over their hated rival, right? There's not too many rivalries in the league. Bears, Packers, Ravens, Steelers, Cowboys and Commanders. I was about to say Cowboys, Redskins, pardon me, but Cowboys and Commanders. There's not too many rivalries in the league where the hatred is that deep and that true like it is with the Bears and the Packers. So as a Ravens fan and knowing what it is with the Steelers, I totally get that. I respect it. And that probably, adds an extra level of something, knowing that you're playing these guys in the playoffs. You got that opportunity to send them home for the year, or send them 1, 2, 3 Cancun, right? Raymond Granderson, 1983. I don't think I've seen you either. Good, better, best. Yeah, facts. That's your coach's thing. I get it. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe, Raymond. I appreciate you being here. You don't get any love, not Caleb fan. So sad cheesehead, so opinion doesn't matter. Doesn't count. Bear down. Okay. I mean, what up, Pedro? Hit the like and subscribe, man. I'm not a Packer fan, so I don't. Okay. But if you heard me, I gave Caleb credit for, and I'm going to give him some more because the guy is special. We understand the talent level that he has, and we saw what he did last night. And it was awesome. It was a great game to watch. And we saw him 24-48. So only 50% completions, but he's one of those dudes that, oddly enough, he's got a low completion percentage in the league, but he still gets busy. I thought at times that he might have literally given the game away with throwing 2 interceptions, but he went 361, also 2 touchdowns, and he had key drives when they needed it most. This was another game which, a team gets out to an early lead and can't hold on to it. I'm wondering, what are these coaches doing when the adjustments are being made? They're not adjusting to the adjustments. But even that, the Bears, they're calling them the Cardiac Bears, and they are the first team in NFL history to record 7 fourth-quarter comebacks in a single season. So there's some things to take into account here. One, let me say the negative part first. When you have to have multiple, comebacks to win these games, right? To me, that says there's something not right that you're starting off so slowly in all these games, right? But on the flip side of it, that shows that your team eventually knows how to adjust and that they have the intestinal fortitude to fight back and win these games. They have the intestinal fortitude. They have the execution when it counts most. They have the belief, and you have that guy under center, right? So we gotta be real about that. The Bears yesterday had the biggest postseason comeback in franchise history. So they were down 21-3 at halftime. They score 25 points in the fourth quarter to win the game, which it makes no sense. This year during the regular season, they won 3 straight games while trailing in the final 2 minutes of regulation. Again, makes no sense. But you have to be able to have certain type of players and certain type of coaches to be able to get this done, man. So shout out to the Bears for what we saw, and shout out to Colson Loveland in his first playoff game, 8 catches for $137. Like, that's crazy. That is crazy. So, I mean, shout out to him. He was looking real good. Absolutely, Edward. The tight end was balling, and they didn't really use the running backs either. Now, the Bears are a team with the style that they play. They want to run the football. The Packers did a good job of controlling that. Bears only had 93 yards on 28 carries, so they did really well. But I think this comes down to, in all seriousness, obviously it's a team game, and you got to give credit for that. But, man, Caleb is special. He's special. Don't like him, but he can ball. He is a guy that has elite arm talent. We know this. He can throw it on a rope, whether he's in the pocket or whether he's on the move. He's got extremely good mobility. He's not quite Lamar Jackson in terms of his mobility, but he's fast. He's strong. He's he's got a little bit of shake to him. He can do it. This is very interesting. Dexter Fuqua, Matt LaFleur is Harbaugh's son. Wow. I guess we're talking about late game foibles in terms of coaching. I guess that's what it is. Like and subscribe, everybody. Like and subscribe. Hit that for me. Really appreciates it. Helps the channel blow. We got a ton of content out there. Really appreciate it. So this is back to Caleb. and this is his second season. He's gotten real coaching with Ben Johnson, right? And he's become one of the best late game performers in the game, which is crazy. And that shows you that there's something different when you can do that in that way. He threw the game-winning 25-yard touchdown pass with a 1 minute 43 seconds remaining. Bears playoff record 361 passing yards. That's serious, man. That's serious. So you just, I kind of wonder, like, what is it about him that allows him to do the things that he's doing? You wonder. And on top of that, now the Bears, when we saw them winning when we saw them last win a championship, 1985, the 85 Bears, widely regarded as one of, if not the best defensive team of all time, right? That they called them the monsters of the Midway and all that, and they were beasts, right? And they were elite. The Bears have always been known for defense, even when they got back to the Super Bowl and they lost with, was that Rex Grossman, Brian Urlacher, and them. They lost to Peyton Manning and the Colts. Even then, the Bears were known for being an elite defensive team. And while they're not that now in terms of just the physical dominance and the constantly sacking the quarterback and completely shutting down the run and not allowing you to have anything, they were 29th in total yardage allowed this year. Here's the big thing. I will allow for that because they had 33 total takeaways. When you can do that and consistently give your offense extra possessions, I think that's a difference maker, right? Now, here's the thing. You got to wonder, is that something that can be maintained? Is that, players making the best of opportunities? Is that something that's coached? Is that schematic? I always wonder about that, right? Because a lot of times you don't see from year to year, rarely do you see that in football from year to year, a team consistently being dominant in takeaways, right? We have seen that as of late with Notre Dame in college. We saw that for years with Beamer ball, with Virginia Tech, right? Consistently leading the country in non-offensive touchdown score. But you generally see that year after year. You generally, don't see that year after year in the NFL. That's a kind of weird thing. And then you see, as great as the Bears have been with the seven comeback wins in the fourth quarter this year, that's not something that's generally sustainable either. When you win a whole ton of games in one season by very small margins, or you have a bunch of comeback wins, normally you come back to the pack on that the following season. So you can't rely on that because it's not sustainable. It's not something you could coach. You can go on a run and you could do that 1 year, maybe 2 years, but it's not reliable culturally, right? And so I think what has to happen is the Bears at some point are going to have to start getting off to faster starts in these games so that they're not constantly digging out of a hole. Because if you end up playing against a team that's better and doesn't allow you out of the hole, they're not only gonna they're gonna get out early, and as my man Edward likes to say, they're gonna close the casket on you and seal the deal. If it's a really good team, they're not only gonna kick you in that hole, they're gonna close the casket, seal the deal, and then put that dirt on top. They're not gonna allow you to climb back out. So these are things that the Bears need to think about. But for right now, that was a magical win in their playoff opener in Caleb Williams' first playoff game, Colson Loveland's first playoff game, Ben Johnson's first playoff game as a head coach. That was incredible. And not only was it incredible to see as a win, that was incredible to see as a fan, right? Just to watch a game like that was so exciting, came down to the wire, so on and so forth. Jordan Love had a heck of a game, 24-46, 323, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. But also, Green Bay couldn't get their rushing game cranked up the way they wanted to. 23 carries for 99 yards. So it was almost the same as the Bears. So you got to wonder, and this is what I'm saying, when you looked at LaFleur, I'm like, okay, Ben Johnson clearly made his changes. What are you doing to adapt to that, Matt LaFleur? I was very disappointed, not necessarily because I had a dog in the fight. Now, I was repping for the Packers because my partner is a Transformer. That's my guy. That's my brother. Go Pack, go. So I was, repping for them to support my guy. But I didn't expect that. I thought that the Bears had a great season, but I thought it would come to an end at this point just because they weren't ready yet. But I guess we got to get out of that mindset of teams not being ready yet. At some point, they're just going to be ready and they're going to do what they do. So it's going to be very interesting to see how well they do going forward. It's going to be very interesting. And I believe they host the next playoff game again. I think they do. but we'll find out. Regardless, again, you look at it, Colston Loveland, Caleb Williams, those guys should have been co-players of the game. They were tremendous. Man, I really don't know what to say. It was an impressive outing. And I think if you're the Packers, you ask, where do you go from here? What can we do to make this team better and to reach the potential that this team has? Because I think for the most part, they have what they need. They have, I mean, it definitely hurt to lose Micah Parsons, right? But still, this game wasn't lost because you didn't have Micah Parsons. This game was lost, I think, on coaching. And I believe that Ben Johnson, thank you. Ben Johnson, I believe that he outcoached Matt LaFleur. And Matt LaFleur gets a lot of props for being a young offensive genius, but at what point is all that going to play into getting the job done in the postseason, right? And I can tell you, as somebody who just watched my coach get fired, when you make these type of mistakes in the postseason, coaches get fired. So shout out to Ben Johnson in his first year. Shout out to the Bears for what they're doing, man. And I tell you what, man, it's impressive. It's very impressive. The Bears have the number 3 rushing attack in the league. And I love the fact that even though Ben Johnson has a guy who's going to be an elite quarterback in very short order, he has a tight end, he's got quality receivers, he still believes in running the football. I don't know why so many, well, I do know why. I think a lot of OCs believe that the way to get a job is to have a high-flying passing offense, throwing the ball all over the place, putting up a bunch of points. The way to get a job, OCs, if any of you hear me, is to win football games. And the best way to do that is controlling the clock, running the football, and then letting your quarterback play off of that. But hey, I'm sitting here talking to you guys. I'm not an NFL coach. It sounds a lot it sounds a lot easier than it is, I'm sure. Eric, what's going on, Eric? Like and subscribe, brother. Thanks for being here. He says a Bear fan with cheese and grater. Yo, so it is funny. You know how we always see the cheese heads, right? The Swiss cheese hats that they wear, the cheese heads. Are they Swiss cheese? Whatever. But the cheese head hats. So now the Bears fans, they wear the cheese grater hats. I thought that was pretty cool, whoever came up with that. That's definitely creative. And that's the beauty of sports, man. The beauty of sports, you got rivalries and all that good stuff. And it's just a lot of fun. So yeah, the Bears they have a second home game now. And we know how much those home games mean and how much they matter. And so this is going to be good. This is going to be good. But yeah, Ben Johnson, great job. Hey, thank you, Eric. I appreciate you. Ben Johnson, absolutely great job yesterday and great job all year. But I will say this, as a head coach, and I'm sure he knows this and I don't need to tell him, he has to be cognizant of starting off faster so you're not stuck in a position where you're trying to dig out of a hole. He has to be cognizant of that. He also has to be cognizant of the defense playing better overall and not relying on takeaways, because those aren't always going to be there. And you never want to be in a situation again where you constantly have to be trying to win these close games. Yeah, it shows that your team has mental and physical toughness, resilience. But when you are like that, like what was it last season? The Chiefs won like 11 one-score games. It was crazy, but that flipped on them this year, and they ended up losing a bunch of those type of games. So you can't rely on that. All right, Transformer's not here to really give me the breakdown from his side of it. I would love what he has to hear about Green Bay, but I think what he and I are probably going to do at some point in the next couple of days is do a standalone show about Green Bay, where that's going, the Bears and the Packers, this game in particular, because I really want to take time to, one, let him vent, but two, get his breakdown on what he sees with his team, what they need to do, what happened in this particular game, other than, the basics that we saw. But I want to hear it through the eyes of that Green Bay fan who's going to look at it from a different lens than I did. So we're going to get back to you guys on that. Don't worry about it. But for now, let's go ahead and let's take some calls on this topic. 904-219-8264. 904-219-8264. Bruce, what's good, brother?
Hello.
What's going on, Bruce?
What a glorious morning it is. Like my man Chris Farley and Mike Myers said on SNL, the Bears.
Facts.
Hey,
Got Bears.
Everybody say 1, 2, 3, Cancun, motherfucker.
Cancun.
Like, hey, remember last week's show? I told him verbatim that defense was going to be the death of them. Didn't I tell him that?
You did.
Verbatim. I said it was going to be a quick, early exit, brother.
You did say that.
Don't get too comfortable. Don't get too happy. Micah Parsons was truly missed. Jordan Love did all he can do. Shout out to Caleb Williams. All this talking about he going into legendary status. That's a little too overblown.
Agreed.
Shannon Sharp on Nightcap talking about he's coming into legend status and nah. He had a great fourth quarter. He was iffy throughout the game. He had some great throws.
Yes.
He bought some time, but I will give him this. He made a legendary throw on that 4th and 8?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
And that was a legendary throw, and he showed out. Legends are made in the playoffs, but to try to shoot him up past, put him in the home stratosphere.
No.
He's better than all these guys. Like that's how Shannon Sharp was making the scene.
Well, the only thing I'll say about that, Bruce, is that when he's talking about the legendary business, he's talking about, I can't speak for Shannon. Let me not say that. My understanding would be that he's saying, because remember, Shannon Sharp, he played with John Elway, so he knows what a legend looks like. I think he's saying that when you have that special thing in these late game situations, that's the thing that the legends had, right? Whether it's a Peyton Manning or a Aaron Rodgers, John Elway, Brett Favre, whoever it may be. He's saying that he probably sees. I can't speak for him, but I think that he's saying he sees some of that in Caleb. 7 fourth quarter comebacks this year.
Yeah, he did. True.
Right. So that's my thought. But go ahead, brother.
They say you make your money in the regular season, you become a legend in the playoffs.
Yes, sir.
That's the saying. But Michael Parsons was truly missed. Hey, man, there's nothing you can do when you can't say the Green Bay ain't play hard. It just football guards, man. The ball bad, no calls, missed calls. But you know how the Green Bay lost the game. 4 missed field goals, man. God damn, man.
So I saw a Transformers reel when he was talking about that, and I totally get it. But here's the thing, though. You had 2 extra possessions, Bruce. Caleb gave you 2. He gave you 2, right? So you had the chance to put that away, and you didn't. Yeah. So I think it's not just the 4 missed field goals, And that even if it comes down to it, you can't let this guy and that team, what they do in the clutch. It was your job to stop them. You couldn't let them drive right down and do what they did, and that's exactly what you did. So, I get the missed field goals, and he's probably cut already, but there's a lot more to it than that. But go ahead, bro.
Hey, ain't nobody talking about twinkle fingers now, is they? Ain't nobody talking about the finger polish now, huh?
Oh, man, it's always going to be that. But he can, if he wins games. I will give him his
credit. He showed out. He played awesome. He's a talented kid.
Yes, sir.
I just didn't like the Patrick Mahomes. They blew him up at USC. Someone he's the next Patrick Mahomes. Why can't he be the next Caleb Williams? He's pretty good. The kid's strong. He's fast.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we're going into a new era of football. It's like the times of the pocket quarterback will be obsolete. They still gonna be around because Matthew Stafford's still balling. Mm-hmm. So you can't say Joe Burrow
that's right.
But it seems like the future is gonna be more and more guys that can get up out that pocket. But as far as the Bears talented, man, on both sides of the ball. Man, DeAndre Swift, he is shifty. The Sweat and all those boys. Let me say this: the Bears secondary. I don't know what Mr. Ben Johnson said to him in the locker room. They came up second half. They locked all that up. That dummy on corners of Chicago is very talented. Mm-hmm. And when I hear Chicago, they ready to get a dome. Why would you get a dome in Chicago? That's your home field advantage. It's cold.
I don't understand that either.
Why would you do that?
You know why, Bruce?
Go ahead.
Because if you get a dome, you can have much more events held in that arena.
Super Bowl in Chicago.
That's right.
That, but goddamn,
you can have a Super Bowl.
That's gonna kill a mystique.
But during the I agree. But during the off season, guess what else you can have? You can have even during the season, you can have concerts and rodeos and monster truck and all that stuff, right? So you can do much more and make more money. That's all it is, bro. But I agree with you from the football side.
Jordan Love played well.
Yeah.
Even though the completion percentage wasn't that high. But the efficiency, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Yes.
But damn, the Chicago, the true cardiac kids, the true bad news bears, aren't they?
For sure. For sure.
I was surprised not seeing my man, Mr. Transformer, this morning. Obviously,
he got duty this morning.
Yeah, he had duty, yeah, so I understand that. But Dad, I wish he was on here. I hope y'all throw another show so we can really go at it.
Yeah, we will.
Like I wanted to. But hey, man, great show, man. Just getting ready for these 3 games. I'm locked and loaded. I got the food cooking.
Yeah.
Ready to lay back, chill, watch the games, man. Have a great day, brother.
Hey, you too, man. Appreciate the call, Bruce.
All right, bro.
All right, man. Yeah, great call from Bruce as always. Great call. Yeah, no, he's right. It is a little early to, say Caleb is on legendary status, but he made the type of plays and is making the type of plays in clutch situations that the legends made. And I would assume, my pops told me always never assume, but I would assume that that is what Shannon Sharpe is referring to. So, yeah. All right. I'll wait another 30 seconds. Take one more call if anybody wants to call in. 904-219-8264. 904-219-8264. And if not, then we will go on. All right, guys, let's get to this last topic, and then we will get up out here. Man, this show has flown by. This is one I just figured I'd touch on it briefly, get a little NBA in here. Hey, good morning, Micah. How you doing, man? It's good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for being here, bro. You missed your shout out earlier. Okay, so just wanted to briefly discuss this. Like I said, get some NBA in here. Obviously, I had the NBA in the quick hit with Kawhi Leonard doing his thing, and wanted to show love to that. But this was interesting, right? So Trae Young, I remember watching this guy at Oklahoma, and everyone's like, he'd be the next Steph. He's an elite passer. He's got tremendous range on the 3 ball, but not nearly the accuracy. But everybody was looking and saying he was going to be the next Steph. So instead of being the next Steph, he should concentrate on being the next him. But regardless, the guy can really play. He's played 8 years with the Hawks. That was fast. And he got traded this past week to the Washington Wizards, which is very interesting because, I don't know, the Hawks they'll pop up with a really good year here and there where they'll make it to the conference finals. But for the most part, the Hawks haven't been, they haven't been good for a long time, right? But you look at Trae Young and you say, okay, this is a guy who, he's got a lot of ability, right? Obviously, he can shoot the long range jump shot. He can handle the ball really well. He's an outstanding passer. And what I like about him as a passer, what I like about Trae Young as a passer, he's not just a, driving kick. He's not just a 5-out guy, right? Go down to get a high screen and roll, go down the middle, and then kick out to somebody just standing there waiting to shoot a 3 off of his penetration. He is a guy that can really pass the basketball on the move, find guys who are cutting and moving. And so I like that, right? Most of the passers now, everything is just driving kicks. So it's really cool to see that the Hawks did run some actual semblance of offense and action, right? Not just, like I said, that 5-out, which is corny. But Trae Young, a bigger problem for me. Obviously, he's a smaller guard. He doesn't defend. Well, what do you expect, right? Most guys don't defend now. So that's a huge knock to me that he doesn't attempt to play both sides of the ball. Does he get some steals? Yes. Are steals defense? Yes, Edward, steals are defense. But we also know you can get steals without defending, right? It's one of those things. It's an odd thing, but it's one of those things. So anyway, Trae Young has had some issues with the Hawks, right? His career averages are 25 points a game, 9.8 assists per game, 3.5 rebounds per game. So, which is crazy. His best season was the 2019-2020 season, where he averaged 29.6 points per game and 9.3 assists per game, becoming only the 5th player in NBA history to average 29 and 9. So that's kind of crazy. So shout outs to him. But here's the deal, though. For all the gaudy stats and all the fancy plays and all that, Trae Young's stats don't add to any winning. And that, to me, that's a problem, right? The Hawks' record with Trae Young in his career is 221 and 272. He's not even at 500. I'm sure there are a lot of people, Edward, who would say that it doesn't matter because he gets his numbers, right? All that matters are the stats, right? Or maybe he could be like LeBron and wear a T-shirt that says, check my stats. But anyway, stats and winning should go together, right? So, they're under 500 with Trae Young. But in 2021, he did get them to the Eastern Conference Finals. But that was the only time they made that type of deep run, okay? So this year, they are 25 and 26, and when he's played, they're 2-8 and 15 and 12 when he's not playing. So I think that's interesting. So you got to look at that like, wait a minute, why are they better without their best player? That's a problem. That might be something you could ask about the Nuggets too. Anyway, not the point here. We're not talking about that. Yeah, Micah, for real. You're right. But yeah, so Trae Young, he got traded to the Washington Wizards, which I thought that was interesting. And, maybe, because we see this in sports all the time, maybe he just needed a new place, a place to start over, new opportunity, start fresh. And, maybe that'll help him kind of rekindle because he's super talented, right? So the Wizards got Trae Young, the Hawks got CJ McCollum, Corey Kispert, and financial flexibility, right? So they got out from under Trae Young's max deal. So then you start asking the question, well, why did the Hawks trade their best player? We've already established that he doesn't necessarily make them better, right? We see that. So here's the deal. The unofficial end of his tenure in Atlanta began when Atlanta declined to offer Young a long-term extension this past offseason. This created a disconnect between the star and the front office. So he wanted the big money. They weren't trying to give it to him because, again, he's smaller, he's injured, he doesn't defend, and giving him all that money, they didn't necessarily see that as building a winner going forward, right? VC says, what's up, VC? How you doing, bro? He says, the problem is that Trey wanted the max and the Hawks weren't stupid enough to do that. Correct. Jalen Johnson is averaging 24 points, 10 rebounds, and 8.5 assists. So they're seeing him. Also, he's a bigger guy. Pause. He's a physically bigger guy. Pause. So they feel like that is a guy that they can build more so around. He's less likely to be injured. He's more physical. He can defend, and he's more versatile with his ability to rebound, right, and pass the ball. So he's really doing his thing. Roster fit in defense. Atlanta's defense consistently ranked near the bottom of the league during Trae Young's tenure. Analysts noted the team looked more connected and nastier defensively during his injury absences. So it's kind of like when your best player refuses to do something, you follow the lead of your best player. Why would the rest of y'all be busting your butt to play defense if your best player isn't even trying, right? Unless you have a coaching staff that is forcing it, like, okay, Trey's not going to defend. We're going to hide him on defense, and the rest of y'all got to play it. But eventually, resentment comes about when it comes to that, and it's frustrating unless that best player is so good that he is, helping to lead to wins, right? So, yeah, he doesn't defend. Financial strategy. In the current tax apron era of the NBA, Trae Young's $46 million salary was seen as a burden for a team struggling to stay in the play-in tournament. Moving him from McCollum's expiring contract provides Atlanta with roughly $32 million in cap space to pursue other stars, such as rumored target Anthony Davis. So let me stop it. If you are Atlanta, if you're anybody in the league, why would you try to get Anthony Davis? This dude costs a lot of money and cannot stay on the floor. I don't understand for the life of me why you would try to get Anthony Davis if you're a team in the NBA, but whatever. Let's see. VC says the thing with Trey is that outside of the pick and roll, he'd hold the ball too long in isolation, as well as taking those long threes early in the shot clock. Yeah, his shot selection was terrible. It's not as bad as LaMelo Ball, but it's still bad. Yeah, so when you see a situation, I don't understand why you would even be thinking about Anthony Davis, but okay. So the trade ends up happening, And so this was interesting because one of the things that Edward asked me, shout out Edward, was, do I feel like Trae Young can help Anthony Sarr develop the way, in a similar way to the way he played with Clint Capella, right? So I'm not so sure about that right now. Is he going to take some pressure offensively off Anthony Sarr and spread the floor a little bit more because of his range? Yes, right? So maybe that gives Anthony Sarr, I can't remember his first name, but maybe that gives Sarr more opportunity to do work because he physically has more space on the floor. Could be, but I don't know necessarily that he will develop him because Trae Young didn't develop Clint Capella. James Harden and Mike D'Antoni and that system are what developed Clint Capella. So Clint Capella came to Atlanta from Houston, and he just kind of did more of the same, right? That pick and roll, always, crashing the rim or like that. And so that allowed him to continue to do what he was doing. I don't think Trae Young developed him. Now, if Trae Young goes to Washington and says, hey, look at this film, this was a lot of Alex Sarr, not Anthony, Alex Sarr. So maybe if he says, hey, look, check this out, this is a lot of what I did with Clint Capella. It helped him get a lot of easy baskets. This was easy work for us, blah, blah, blah. Maybe that's something that he's able to do, and he's able to help Alex Sarr have more success. So I think that's very possible, right? I think that's very possible. So we got to see. We got to watch. Again, I'm not believing in Trae Young. I don't think he's a culture changer. I don't think he's a game changer. I think he gets his stats. I don't think, as we've seen, that he affects winning a great deal. But it's going to be interesting to see. So I just wanted to touch on that. This was a quick topic. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to take a couple calls on this. Then we'll get you all out of here, and you can enjoy your NFL football. By the way, we got a couple great games today, man. That Buffalo Jags game is going to be something. But let's take this call. Edward, what's up, man?
Anyway, now I'm glad you said what you said, Bruce. Let's say this here. We know that. Okay, I will say this first.
Mm-hmm.
The Washington Wizards are not going to win a championship with Trae Young. Let's get that out the way.
Okay.
Number two, they would not make a deep playoff run.
Mm-hmm.
That's number three. And number two. Now, number three, could they at least be playoff contention? I can say yes.
Yes.
With all the stuff that you said about, okay, I should have corrected myself when you said that about Trae Young did not develop Clint Capella when he was with James Harden. He was cooking with James Harden. But when he got to Atlanta, he was still having that same development, same work ethic when he went to Atlanta. Can we at least agree with that part?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then now, Trae Young, yes, he's not a defender. He's not none of that. And now, game changer, he's not one. However, he wasn't the first person who started shooting the logo threes. We saw that with Steph, then he started doing that as well with the logo three and everything like that. He was doing that. Now, my thing is this here. Now, I would say that he doesn't shy away from the big moment.
That's true.
We've seen him put the work in. Anytime he's on the bright stage, I don't know what it is about New York. The top guys, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Superstar, whatever, they show out in New York. He's one of them.
Yeah.
He put New York out. I think that's when they had Julius Randle, and some other, I forget who else was on that team. I know Julius Randle was there. That's when the Knicks started to get back into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And he put those guys out.
Yeah.
And then he put out Philly. You know, this was Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons.
Right.
So he put those guys out. Then they lost against Milwaukee Bucks. Yeah. And then, of course, they haven't been back. They've been back to the playoffs when they played against this is when they had DeJounte Murray. I thought that was a good backcourt with him and DeJounte.
Mm-hmm.
And so they got put out, of course, by those guys with that Irish. That's with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, too, by the way. I heard Jason Tatum supposed to be coming back, so hopefully he'd be back on the floor.
I don't know if I would rush that, but go ahead, though.
Of course you wouldn't.
No, Edward,
Edward,
it's not that. It's not that, honest. I want him when he comes back to be at his best, and I also don't want him to rush it back and then, God forbid, get hurt again. That's all, honest. Nothing more than that.
Okay, I thought because you just want Jalen Brown to get all the shine and
No,
not
I want the Celtics to get the shine. I'm not like you people.
Jason Tatum. I know how you is with Jason Tatum, but anyway, that's not about Jason Tatum. So let's keep going.
Okay.
So now with Atlanta, with what they got going on, I can see them. Now they doing good. They got Jalen Johnson back. He was injured last season. He was out for the rest of the season. They also went and picked up. That was a good pickup for them to pick up Nikhil Alexander-Walker. He's a good 3-and-D guy. And also Dyson Daniels, he's been there. So they got good wing defenders, because I know those two guys are good wing defenders, and Jalen Johnson, he can defend too, play both ends of the floor. And Porzingis, and he's in and out of the lineup. He's coming off the bench. I think that will be good. But as far as the Washington Wizards, I mean, he can put them in playoff contention, man. I mean, I don't like it. I mean, it's okay. I wouldn't say it's 50-50 with the trade. He wanted to be the main guy in any spot. But also, this is another thing too. I forgot the guy's name that drafted. You know that Luka was supposed to went to Atlanta, then Trey went to Atlanta instead. The guy who drafted him from Atlanta, he went to Washington. So him and Trae Young, they got a relationship.
Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah, that's a good point.
So that worked out for him and everything. But yeah, man, that's all I can say, man. Right now, I think they said Trae Young's not even gonna play this season. So who knows, man?
And you gotta pay this guy.
Jeez. Yeah, and then plus, hey, like I don't know what the hell. I mean, what's going on with Anthony Davis about him supposed to be going to the Hawks? Or his trade rumors about that, but hey, man, who knows what it is, man? I don't see them. They don't need to get him. They got a good thing going on down in Atlanta with Jalen Johnson, and it's all good, man. But anyway, that's all I got, man. Good show, beautiful show. Let's get the likes and subscribe. Beautiful Sunday. We got some more football tonight.
Yes, sir.
Today, and some NBA.
NBA.
That's all I'm gonna say.
That's right.
That's all I'm gonna say. So,
no doubt. I mean, but everyone's gonna be watching football though. So
yeah. So of course, I'm flipping back and forth. So I show respect. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
No doubt, brother. Thanks for the call, man. All right, you be you.
All right, you be you too, Bruce.
All right, brother. Bruce, what up?
Let me keep this brief. Trae Young moved to the Wizards.
Yeah,
it was a good thing for him. He just needed a change of scenery.
Okay.
He's a defensive liability. But what do you expect? Like I say,
right.
God gave him all the handles, all the speed, all the range, all the offensive IQ. But he didn't give him the height and the strength.
Yeah, but I think you can defend if you want to, though.
Absolutely. Because look at Muggs. Look at Beckham.
Thank you. That's right.
Muggs is like one of the best defenders of all. Truthfully, Muggs is probably one of the best on-ball defenders of all time.
Yep.
At 5, I'm not saying was the best.
No, I got you.
But Muggs was locking, off that jump ball team. Baltimore City shout out East Baltimore.
Yeah.
But Muggs, that's true. You guys had the heart and desire, man. But Muggs was great off-ball and on-ball defender. You guys, anybody, it was hard to get the ball past the half court on them. So it just needed to change the scenery. And the Wizards got a lot of young talent there. They're young, and they're going to score a lot of points, but they're going to give up a lot. It's a change of scenery. That's all. It's good for him. So I think he's going to ball out with the Wizards. He seems happy. Sometimes that's all you need, man. It's just a new start, a new beginning. And, hey, maybe, the Wizards, to get back to those years when John Wall and Bradley Beal was balling in the playoffs. Maybe we get back to that one a year or two from now, and everybody stay healthy. You got the kid Star. You got what's the kid out of Baltimore? Goddamn, I forgot his name. There's a couple guys that got there. Is CJ McCollum still there? He's not there no more.
No, McCollum.
They got Star. They got a couple other good guys that came out of college. Yeah, man. So other than that, man, so it's a change of scenery for him. Happy for him. Hopefully, he ball out with the Wizards. And hey. I'm sorry I got to say this, but I'm going to be real. I'm a ball guy. Shout out to Cooper Flag, a 50-point triple-double last night. The kid balling. Nothing I can say, man. 48, 16, and 15. Unbelievable. The kid is showing out. He's coming into his own. I don't mean to get off subject. I'm ready to get off the phone anyway, good. But I'm just saying.
No, you're good, man.
Cooper Flag, he really showed me something yesterday. Like, what is the kid? He's that.
He's that. And he didn't get Anthony Davis about it. He could step on his pinky toe. He'd be out for the goddamn. I'm sick of him.
Right.
As far as like Trae Young,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he's good in the Wizards. John Morant, they talk about you hear the rumor mill. You know where you're supposed to be going at, right? Houston. Houston supposed to be the location. Houston or Milwaukee. We shall see, man. Like him in Houston?
No. Well,
yeah. I think Udoka good for him. Good for him.
That's what I was about to say. Is he going to defend? Like, I mean, obviously, maybe he needs that tough-nosed coach to really, say, hey, you better get right. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
I don't know. And then Milwaukee is like, is he going to take the ball out of Giannis's hand? Like, what's going to happen there? That's, man.
Hey, I want to say this and I'm going, man.
Yeah.
Do not be surprised if the Spurs go to the NBA Finals this year, bro. That's
all
I got to say. I'm not saying they will.
I got you.
But don't be like, oh, my God. No.
No. Spurs are good, man.
Barn health.
Yeah.
From what I see, the cohesiveness, the 1-2, Wemby's reluctancy to not be friends with guys in the NBA.
I like that.
Walking past guys. What you going to try to shake his hand? He walk past Giannis. He don't like Chet.
I like that.
Whatever Kevin Garnett put in him, he had it in himself anyway. When he was in high school, he was talking trash. I'm the best thing coming out. He's real. I want to say arrogant. He's real confident in himself, and he's backing it up. You can be arrogant if you back it up, and he's backing it up. Yeah, he's not. He don't like. He ain't the friendly guy. I like that. He got that '90s mentality. He ain't trying to be God's friend. None of that. He trying to destroy everything. Only thing I don't like is shooting too many threes, but he hitting them. So what can the hell be saying? Like he never like really go down in the box much. He stay mid post or he stay out the wing. He don't post up much, like as much as he should. Maybe as he gets stronger, as he gets older, he will. But other than that, man, don't be surprised if the Spurs make it. Hey, Bruce, man, have a great Sunday, man. Enjoy these games, man. And
you too, brother.
Hopefully, I can't wait to Transformer come back. I'm gonna get what's in them.
No, we're gonna have to do
hey man, you send me no memes, but them girls, hey man, I know you be getting that stuff from, man.
Hey, watch your mouth, B. That's not me. I don't know where you.
Look, I'm dry snitching. Wifey probably watching it.
Hey, man. Hey. Look, man. I don't know what you talking about right now, man.
I'm on here, rad. Hey, man. Have a great Sunday, man.
You too, man.
Have a great Sunday, bro.
All right, brother.
Look, man. I don't know what you're talking about right now.
All right, y'all. Yeah, we're going to end it right there. Thanks for the calls, y'all. I appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Make sure you share the show. Obviously, if you're listening to a show like this, you love sports, and I know that you talk about sports with other people in your life. So make sure you share that, and let's go ahead and let's enjoy the rest of these NFL playoff games today. Y'all be safe out there, and we will be back as soon as we can because, like I said, I want to make sure that Transformer gets an opportunity to go ahead and vent and to give his thoughts and his perception on how that game went last night and what's in the future for his Green Bay Packers. So we're definitely going to do that. And then, of course, we got all the other stuff that we do, during the course of the weeks and so on and so forth. So y'all have a good one, and we out. Peace.